Blackhawks lose in the shootout to the Tampa Bay Lightning 2-1 on the second half of a back-to-back on home ice. Uh, but I have nothing but positives to take away from that game, and I'll tell you exactly what those positives are. Welcome back to the Blackhawks Conversation postgame show. My name is Ryan McGregor. If you're new here, I'm here after every single Chicago Blackhawks game, doing a sort of in-depth postgame analysis. So be sure to subscribe and stick around so you don't miss a game. Like I said, I'm here after every single game. Um, yeah, I have nothing but positives to take away from this game. It was a loss, but considering the circumstances and how they got the extra point in the shootout, like I said, it's all positives. So since they're on the second half of a back-to-back, Soderblom started tonight. Dickinson was back in, which means Doc was out. Um, they kind of switched up the top six going into this game, actually. The first line was Bertuzzi, Bedard, Mikheyev, so reuniting Bedard and Bertuzzi there. Second line was Green on the wing with Nazar and Burakovsky. So mixing up the top six a bit, the bottom six, the combos stayed the same. You have Foligno, Dickinson, Slaggert, Donato, Moore, Lardis. Um, so yeah, that was the team going in. Defensive pairings haven't changed in a long time, and they stayed the same tonight, and I'm totally fine with that. Um, so pretty much just I'm kind of just gonna sum up the first and second period with the Hawks were lucky to be alive after 40 minutes. And it's only because of Arvid Soderblom. He's the only reason they got to the shootout, the only reason they were tied going into the third period. He single-handedly basically earned that point um, tonight. So they were outshot in the first period, 8-4. And why that's so terrible? You're probably thinking, well, 8-4, it's not that bad. The reason it was terrible was because they had three power plays and only one shot on goal in three power plays. So they had the man advantage for 6 minutes out of the 20, and they were outshot 8-4. Um, Penalty kill went 1-for-1 in the first period. Um, and then the second period, too, at the end of the second period, they were outshot 21-6. So the first two periods were absolutely abysmal. You get outshot 21-6, um, but it's only 1-1. They're tied, and the reason for that is like I said, Arvid Soderblom, who had an unreal night. He had a 968 save percentage and 30 saves. So let's. There's only two goals in regulation tonight. Let's break them down. Ryan Green scored early. Technically not a power play goal. It happened right as the power play ended, and the man came out of the box. Um, it was a nice goal. It was a quick break in, kind of blue line in 3-on-2. Moore finds Green. I guess it hit Lardis because he ended up getting the primary assist. So kind of fires it towards Green, hits Lardis, finds Green. He has an in-tight breakaway and he puts it glove side on Vasilevsky. Um, Tampa challenges for an offside. And upon first look, it did look offside. I mean, the gap was crazy, but then you slow it down, and Oliver Moore made a really smart play of he tapped the puck over the line, but he saw that I think it was Foligno who was deep in the zone. He saw Foligno was still not even close to onside, so he lifts his stick and he doesn't touch the puck again until Foligno hits the blue line. So whether that was intentional or not, I tend to think it was. Um, it was a really smart play and a nice goal. And Ryan Green, like I said earlier, when he gets out of the scoring slump, gets out of being snake bitten, he's going to start scoring goals, and he's been scoring. He's been racking them up. So Ryan Green makes it 1-0. Lardis and Moore get the assists, and um, the kids keep playing well. And then with a minute 18 left in the second, that's when Nikita Kucherov tied the game. Um, breakout along the wall. Alex Vlasic gets pinned, turns it over, and Hagel finds Kucherov alone in front of the net. Obviously, it was a breakout. All your forwards are kind of starting to go high, so nobody was down low to cover the front of the net, which is where Kucherov was. And you have Kucherov alone in front of the net. He's not missing that. So a bit of a ball buster there with 118 to go in the second. So we entered the third tied, and credit to the Blackhawks. They came out really well in that third period, considering uh, Tampa outshot them 9-8 in the third, but given what it was after 40, 21-6. That's pretty good. A way better effort, more consistent offense, lots of better looks. They actually tested Vasilevsky a few times. And they go to overtime. They start Nazar, Bedard, and Kaiser, and Chicago dominated for pretty much all of overtime. The first 3.5 minutes, they had the puck pretty much the whole time. They had great looks. They had a 2-on-0 with Mikheyev and Burakovsky. A great play by Mikheyev to strip the puck just inside the line. 2-on-0, a couple passes. Mikheyev has an open net. Vasilevsky saves it. I believe it hit the post, too. And then Burakovsky tries to jam it in. If Burakovsky had just stopped in front of the net, he would have put it home, but he kept going behind the net. He had to slam on the brakes late, and he just couldn't put it home. Tried to bank it off Vasilevsky, and it wouldn't go. A couple of really good looks. Nazar had a look, and we go to a shootout, and in the shootout, it's a coin toss. So Kucherov and Nazar score. Um, Crevier goes fourth for the Hawks. He scores. Goncalves scores. I don't know how you say his name. Goncalves. I don't know. And then Dominic James ends it. So Tampa gets a 2-1 win, but I'm not disappointed. You get a point, and the reason why I think this game was so good, um, the bottom line, you lose 2-1 in shootout, but you have a young team on the second half of a back-to-back, starting their backup goalie, and they hold off the best team. And if you take away October, Tampa has been just as good as Colorado. So minus October, the best team in the NHL up there with Colorado. You hold them off. You hold them to one goal in regulation, and you tie in regulation, and you also score a goal. So, and then you dominate overtime. So I think there's positives to take out of this game. I mean, obviously, Arvid Soderblom having the 968 save percentage, he was unbelievable tonight. Like I said, the only reason they got a point and the only reason it wasn't an 8-1 game. Uh, Interestingly enough, Connor Bedard registered 0 shots on goal in that game, and I can't remember off the top of my head, um, when's the last time that happened? I don't know when the last time Connor Bedard had 0 shots on goal was. I can't remember a night, so, we'll see. Um, I don't know why I said we'll see. I was reading something at the same time I said that, so I just said we'll see, and that didn't make any sense. A positive here, Frank Nazar was 64% on the faceoffs, which I thought was really good. I thought Vlasic had a really good game. I don't want to crap on the party here, but I didn't think it was a great game from Artem Levshinov. I don't want to keep, you know, being hard on the guy. I just don't think he had a good game. It was a really good game from Wyatt Kaiser. Um, Pretty much everyone on the forward core had a good game. I really liked Dickinson's game. I thought he played really well. I thought Foligno played well. Oh, Foligno had a fight um, in the first period, and he delivers a hit in the corner. Looked like it was from behind. To be honest with you, I didn't really watch the replay of the hit, but in real time, it looked like it was from behind. So it was fair um, for who was it here? Finley to step up and fight Foligno, and obviously Foligno being who he is, he knows he's got to fight. He's not going to turn it down. So he drops the gloves and he absolutely kicked Finley's ass. It wasn't even close. It was a clear win for Foligno, and Finley probably had, you know, 3 or 4 inches on Nick Foligno height wise. So yeah, good fight from Foligno, and Finley actually got the extra penalty, which led to a power play for the Hawks, which I believe is the one that Green scored on just after it ended. Um, but yeah, pretty much all night, I thought, Tampa was just the faster team. They were the better team. They were winning battles, winning foot races, which, is fair to expect in general because they are a way better team. But you put again Chicago in the second half of a back-to-back. Of course, that's going to happen. But the Hawks were really resilient, regardless of that. One thing I would like the Hawks to clean up. One thing I noticed that I think was creating a lot of chances for. Um, Tampa Bay was the Hawks weren't covering lanes in the middle. Tampa Bay was really easily sending passes um, east-west in the offensive zone, specifically not even high at the blue line or low behind the net, through the crease. So the Hawks, I feel like they need to do a better job covering the lanes um, in the defensive zone. But it's you got time to work on that, and kind of been an issue all season. So I don't know if they're going to change that, but it didn't matter tonight because Soderblom had the answer for pretty much everything. And the one goal he didn't have the answer for, you can't blame him. It was Kucherov alone in front. Let me just check the special teams here. I believe the penalty kill was Perfect. Yeah. Penalty kill went 3 for 3 tonight. It's the first in the NHL. It stays hot. It stays first in the NHL. Power play continues to struggle. It went 0 for 3. Um, it had some looks. It wasn't as terrible as it has been on nights. There's been nights where they just haven't even been able to break into the offensive zone, period. But they managed to get quite a bit of zone time tonight. I felt on the power play, they had some looks. They just couldn't convert. So there's been worse power plays. I didn't think the power play was terrible tonight, but it went 0 for 3. And, it's Tampa, it's Vasilevsky. It's the same system. It's the same penalty kill system that we play. So obviously Blashill coming from Tampa Bay, one thing he took with him was the penalty kill system. So it was two same penalty kills up against each other tonight, and both of them went perfect. I don't know where Tampa sits overall in the standings actually, but I assume they're pretty high, and the Blackhawks being first in standings and penalty kill, having the same penalty kill. So, um, yeah, after every single game, I take to Twitter, and I put out, does anyone have any questions on the game? I'll answer them in the post game. So if you don't already follow me on Twitter, be sure to do that. I believe it is in this corner here, at Ryan McGregor CHI. I also live tweet throughout the game, so if you want to see my thoughts and opinions throughout the game, that is the place to be. So we have one question today. It's from Calvin. He says thoughts on the shootouts in general, and I like this question because I strongly dislike the shootout. I said it to my girlfriend during this game when there was about 30 seconds left in overtime. I said it should just be this for 10 minutes. I think if you extend, you don't even have to fully get rid of the shootout, but I think if you extend overtime to 10 minutes, you're really gonna knock down the amount of shootouts that there are. There aren't even a ton of shootouts now. Weird to say after the Hawks have two in 24 hours, but um, you don't even see that many shootouts now to begin with. So if you double the length of overtime and make it 10 minutes, I think it's really going to limit the amount of shootouts we see. Which, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm all for just eliminating the shootout. Like, I would be totally fine if they eliminated the shootout and just did continuous 3-on-3 till it ends. I mean, there's no way it's going longer than 10, maybe 15 minutes. Um, so for me, if it were up to me, if I made the rules in the NHL, if I was Gary Bettman, it would be continuous 3-on-3 overtime until there's a winner. Don't even run the clock. Just play until someone scores. Like you're not going to go longer than max 15 minutes every night, in my opinion. So, not a whole lot, of nitpicky stuff to get into with this game. Like overall, I just think, given the fact that it's the third youngest team in the NHL, you're on the second half of a back-to-back facing two of the top teams in the Eastern Conference. And since November, Tampa's been right up there with Colorado as the best team in the NHL. You're, like I said, third youngest team in the NHL. You're able to force them to a shootout regardless of being outplayed heavily for 40 minutes. Your goaltender has a great night. The kids led the charge. So overall, like I'm really happy with the performance. They get a point. I believe they're 21, 22, and 8 now. So yeah, I'm happy with the game, even though it was a loss. I don't really have too much else to say. So that's pretty much it for me. Like I said, if you're new here, I'm here after every single Chicago Blackhawks game. So make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any in-depth analysis after the games. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions in the comments down below on this one. I don't have much to say myself, but I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. This show is also available now on Apple Podcasts, so be sure to go over there, give it 5 stars. It would really help the show. And if you have any Chicago Blackhawks fans in your life, please let them know about the show. It would help me a lot. And it would help grow this little community we got going of Hawks fans here. So that's it for me. I'll be back after next post game, and I'll see you then.